Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar titled Biomass Magazine's 2021 Editorial Preview. My name is John Nelson. I'm Vice President of Operations and Marketing at BBI International and Biomass Magazine. I'm joined today by the editor of Biomass Magazine, Anna Simmet. She'll be speaking here shortly. Today's webinar is sponsored by the International Biomass Conference and Expo, and it will be taking place March 15th through the 17th, and it is currently a virtual event. So definitely be on the lookout for some more information on how that plays out. We've done a virtual event for some of our other events this past year, and we've had very good reception on those. So we can definitely walk you through that process of how our virtual events play out and so on. But today we are here to talk about the magazine. So what we're going to cover today will be we'll be talking about the online, looking at some of the online stats, the offerings, a digital press package that's become very popular. Look at the audience, who's reading Biomass Magazine. Talk about some of the print facts, why print is important still. Again, look at who's reading the magazine. And then for what a lot of people are here for, we're going to hand it over to Anna, and she's going to talk about the editorial highlights, and then we'll have an exclusive webinar discount as well for advertising. So before I jump into that, I do want to cover a little bit of Biomass Magazine's editorial scope, just to make sure we do that. I know Anna's going to talk more in depth on this, but Biomass Magazine is a trade publication that's tailored to serve companies and organizations engaged in producing and or utilizing biomass power and heat, advanced biofuels, biogas, wood pellets, bio-based chemicals, and RNG. In addition to policy, regulation, project finance, technology, and plant management, the publication maintains a core editorial focus on biomass logistics. And so I really want to, by talking about that, I just want to remind people that, we've spent years building this publication, and really it is one of the staple in the biomass industry to find out biomass news. And I can't say enough about this. Is where I'm going to talk a little bit about Anna and her team and toot their horn a little bit. But Anna and her team have done an outstanding job, and she's got a very experienced staff behind her covering the biomass industry in all aspects. And works with editorial boards. She works with a staff of writers. She works with the account managers who are very experienced and have been here since the beginning of the magazine, a marketing team that's been here since the beginning of the publication, same with the production team. So again, it's a very experienced team, and Anna does an outstanding job leading the charge on that. So I just want to talk a little, I just want to do a quick mention on that about Anna. So let's take a look at biomassmagazine.com at a glance. So again, our digital offerings. So we have Biomass Weekly newsletter that goes up to 38,000 plus subscribers. Now we've built this over years, over a decade, more than a decade, where we have built this list and cultivated this list. And these are people who have subscribed and said, hey, I'm interested in the biomass industry. I want to learn the latest news. And so when you're looking at an advertising option, this is an outstanding spot to go to because you can track it. You can look at your stats. You can see who's clicking it and so on. And again, you can go right into their inbox, which is very important right now. So moving over to biomassmagazine.com, looking at some of the page views, we get 68,000 page views per month. And over the year, we get 820,000 plus page views. And this is based off Google Analytics, where we've pulled these stats. You can find them in our media kit as well. But again, if you're looking for advertising, you can see we have advertising here. If you kind of squint in there and see that, it's kind of small. But you can see you can buy leaderboards, you can buy skyscrapers, medium rectangles, and so on. But there are options here for advertising. And again, this audience is very focused on the biomass industry. This is where they are coming to get that news and that information that Anna and her team are putting up there on a daily basis, cultivating that information, talking about the latest technologies and the services that really help producers of biomass power and heat, build out and maintain efficiency. So who visits the website and who gets the newsletter? These kind of correlate. And so when you're looking at this, the majority are in the U.S. So our visitors are primarily the U.S. The people who make up the newsletter email list, primarily in the U.S. And that's how this correlates together, because a lot of the website traffic is driven by the newsletter. So, but you look through here and you go Canada, UK, India, and so on, and you can see there are a lot of people from around the globe that visit this website. So again, if you're looking for a national market, this is where you want to be. If you're looking for an international market, this also is where you want to be. We have a nice mix of international, and probably more so than any of our other publications. Biomass Magazine seems to really represent the international scene and audience very well. So if you're looking at getting that global reach and the U.S. reach, this is a great option for you. Now, we do post, we have 14,000 plus Twitter followers. We have 5,000 plus on Facebook and almost 4,000 on LinkedIn. Again, why is that important? Every story that's written by Anna and her team, they are on the website, are posted on our social media sites. Well, people are clicking on those. So these are network referrals that kick back to our website. So they see a story that's written and they're clicking on that story, going back to the website and hopefully seeing your advertisement. And that's an important feature of us helping to drive traffic to your ad that's on our website if you're posting an online ad. And ultimately, they're clicking on that ad and hopefully going to your website and wanting to do more business with you. Okay, digital press package. Now, this is an option that we've created for marketers and advertisers that really want to track their results, get something up quickly. I've got this information. I want to get it out fast. I want to make a big splash. Well, we have a digital press package that includes sending out a press release to our news list of 61,000 plus subscribers. So you'll get your information sent out in an email, exclusive email, to 61,000 plus on our news feed. The second part of this digital press package is we will post your press release over the paid wire. We have a paid wire that goes specifically to energy hotspots. These are media outlets that want to get information on the energy sector, on the energy industry, and we send it out to that. And we also provide you with a report of where it's been picked up around the country, around the globe, and you can see what stations are picking that up. So a good way to really drive some press, some information. You got a new technology you want to get out there quick. This is a great way to do it. In addition to these two pieces of the digital press package, we have online advertising that would be part of that package. So you're getting a press release out. You're getting over the paid wire on a national scale to all the energy hotspots. You're getting inside our website where people are reading information. And then a fourth component here is we will send your press release out over our social media sites, as I just covered previously on the previous slide. So 4 things here. It allows you to get a specific topic information out, ramp it up quickly, track it. It's become a very popular option for people in today's day and age, and it becomes even more and more popular. One thing I do want to note, and I will talk about this a little bit later, is you can buy everything here individually as well, not just the package. But definitely chat with one of our account managers. They will be able to walk you through what it entails to ramp that up and get that going. All right, so we've been talking a lot about the digital side, and we've been talking a lot about online e-newsletter, but let's talk a little bit about our print publication. Now, this is really a great option to get your word out and get it in the hands of producers. One of the things, one of our account managers always reminds me, he's like, John, remember, people couldn't send a mailer to, for the price of our advertising, people couldn't send a mailer out to all of these, to 7,000 plus people for the price to buy an ad. And I always think about that if you break it down to dollars and cents. Yeah, you're right. And plus, people are reading this publication for all the content that Anna and her team are writing. So it's just something to think about, and it's a very inexpensive way if you look at how many people you're hitting with your ad, with a physical ad. So our audience breakdown, we send every issue goes to 7,000. We're in 52 countries, 2.3 readers per issue. Now, this is based off some third-party research that we've done, where we actually interviewed all of our, or not all of our subscribers, but a subset of our subscribers. And what we came back with, this third party told us every issue is being read 2.3 times. And so that's where that number is factored in. And then we send out to all future and existing producers, from biomass power and heat, RNG, biogas, pellets, etc. It's all advanced biofuels. It's all mixed in there, and then it brings our total audience to 16,000, and that's how that number is created. So again, when you're purchasing an ad, this is your total audience. Probably the most important thing is you are going to all production facilities that are listed on our maps. And so we have our pellet producer map, we have our biogas, our RNG map, we have our biomass plant map. We have all these maps, and every issue that we have is being sent to those producers. So again, you're really able to focus in and dial in on the producers by getting an advertisement inside our publication. Producers make up the largest subset, and then it goes into consulting, equipment, technology, etc. So just kind of a breakdown of our subscriber base. And you can see majority of our readers are inside the U.S. So our print publication weighs more on the U.S. side versus if you look at our digital options, go a little more international. So our readers are more inside the U.S. when you're doing a print ad. So print facts. This is some of the questions come up with advertisers that are talking about is print still relevant? Is it alive? Is it for trade publications? We definitely can say it is. If you're interested in getting to the biomass industry, a specific targeted trade publication is a great option. So you're looking at from a third party. This is from MRI Simmons Multimedia Engagement Study. These are the stats that they came back looking at all different mediums, and it says ads in magazines are more engaging and valued than other ads in other mediums. And I would say that myself. They're going to hold your attention more, and you're going to be watching those. And so what they've also looked at are 52% of the people who saw an ad recall the product or service, and 62% of the readers, after seeing a print or magazine ad, acted upon that. So, looking at this, the experiences with magazine ads are most positive. If you look at all these different mediums, TV, radio, it's just less intrusive. And I find myself thinking the same thing. When I'm looking through a magazine, I'm there to read the articles, but I'm also there to look at the pictures and look at the ads, look at the new technologies. We know for a fact that our readers are looking inside our publication, not just for the great editorial, but they are looking for those new technologies. They want to look at those ads. They want to see that information. So they have told us that. So the other thing here that we just want to indicate is larger ads and premium positions create stronger awareness. This is kind of a no-brainer. There's other factors, for example, how good your ad is, etc. But in general, if you have a premium spot, if you have a larger ad, a full page versus a half page, if you have a skyscraper ad versus a medium rectangle online, a bigger ad is always going to win out, and a premium spot is always going to get more impressions. It's just how it is. It's just how it works with human nature. So that's why those ads are more expensive. Some other options that we do have our products and services spotlight feature. So if you say, hey, you contact Chip or Howard, one of our account managers, and say, hey, I've got this new product that I want to launch and talk about, we do have a section in Biomass Magazine where we will highlight products and services, and we call it our spotlight feature section. And it's basically a large feature where we put all these products and services together, write an article about them, and really what it does for you is it gets an article about you inside Biomass Magazine, and even more importantly, it really demonstrates to your customers that you have credibility. You can say, hey, I was featured inside Biomass Magazine. And so it really helps showcase your products and services and allows you to kind of show off. So definitely take a look at the products and services spotlight feature section. If you have a magazine, you can look at some past issues, but learn about that, contact our account managers, and they can walk you through that process. It's actually relatively inexpensive to make that happen. We also have the Biomass Power and Waste to Energy map. We have the North American RNG map. And when we talk about these maps, then we also have our pellet map, which isn't on here. We talked about that in our Pellet Mill Magazine webinar. But when these are great options. They're going to every production facility. So if you go to these producers, most likely you are going to see a map on their wall. And Anna and her team keep this information up to date. And so it's very relevant and it's very important to producers so they can see what's going on in their industry. And they keep these up on their wall, and your ad can be placed on the outside of this, and it'll be up on their wall for an entire year. So when you talk about shelf life, it's a great option for you if you're looking at advertising and hitting these audiences. We talked a little bit about Biomass Weekly e-newsletter. Biomass Magazine reprints. We have this on here just again, if you're featured inside as a product or service, or if Anna and her team reach out to you and you've got a product or service that she wants to write about, or you're quoted in a story, you can get a reprint of that. And again, these are great for leave-behinds, great for bringing to conferences. You can talk about how you were featured in Biomass Magazine or interviewed and really build that credibility. So they're great. They turn into great marketing pieces that really help you sell your product or service to a customer. Biomass Industry Directory. This is one of the top directories. I mean, it is the top directory in the industry. However, what I would say is look at not just putting one listing in there, put it in multiple, put it in, this is where, when we talk about shelf life, this is one of the top things. It's distributed at all of our events. We send it out to our bonus distributions as well that Anna's going to cover here in a little bit. And again, this is where producers go and they leave this on their desk when they're looking for a pump, when they're looking for whatever it may be, and they're looking for that specific service. This is where they go. They go, oh, well, these are people that already know my industry. They must be familiar with the lingo. They must understand it. So they're going to go there. If anything, and it's still open and you still can do it, it closes here in a couple weeks, but the Biomass Industry Directory for next year is still open. If anything, I would advise you to go in and get your free print and online directory listing. So you can go on right now and you can get your print and online directory listing. We do have the visit directory.biomassmagazine.com. Do that right now. If you want to add on a logo or add on multiple listings, we highly recommend it. You'll pop out more, but if anything, just get your free listing and get in and put it inside the directory. We also have we talk about custom content with our press releases, and then we also have our Biomass Magazine webinar series. So much like today's webinar, we can do a custom webinar and showcase your product or service to our specific audience, and this is a great way to generate leads, create brand awareness. These are the things you want to be doing. So if you're saying, hey, if you call me up and say, John, I really want to ramp up just leads, and you're kind of in that guerrilla marketing mentality right now, and you say, I just need leads, this is a great way to do it, because we're going to market to the biomass industry, and we're going to promote your product or service. We're going to talk about your speakers. We're going to showcase how you're the expert, and everyone who's on there is going, or everyone who registers will give that contact information to you. So you'll be able to get that information and use that as driving your leads for 2021. So definitely take advantage of that option and talk to our account managers. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Anna and let her talk about the themes and bonus distribution. Anna.
Thanks, John. As John said, I'm Anna Simmet, editor of Biomass Magazine. I've been at the magazine about 12 years. I joined just shortly after it was launched. So today I'll start my brief talk by telling you a little bit about our intended audience and what we cover in Biomass Magazine, a couple of bright spots, and then I'll move on to how our magazine is set up, and then our themes for 2021. So first, who do we write for? Primarily, Biomass Magazine writes for producers and stakeholders, project developers, and plant personnel in biomass-based heat and power production, densified fuels such as wood pellets and briquettes, biogas and RNG, other advanced biofuels, and waste to energy. We focus on small scale all the way to large scale, commercial scale, and we have global coverage. Since we cover many different subjects in Biomass Magazine, I will touch on a couple bright spots in the industry right now. Wood pellets. Right now, in terms of value, the wood pellet market globally is anticipated to reach $14.5 billion by 2027. Projections do vary a bit, of course. Europe has historically been the biggest driver, around 30 million metric tons for 2020 demand, and the supply is primarily coming from North America. Some attention has shifted to Japan a little bit now, the market of which is being driven by the country's feed-in tariff. Future Metrics has projected that by 2025, in the most realistic scenario in terms of the older coal plants being phased out and new efficient power plants being built, demand for wood pellets in Japan could reach 5.5 million metric tons by 2025. RNG is another bright spot I'll mention. In just the past year, the North American RNG industry has developed more projects than it did during its first 3 decades of existence. It kind of tells you about the momentum that it has right now. According to the most recent North American RNG map by Biomass Magazine and the RNG Coalition, on top of the approximate 170 operating RNG projects in the U.S. and Canada, there are nearly 75 more RNG projects in substantial development phases. So, on now to a little bit about how Biomass Magazine is set up. In the front section, we have columns. These are either recurrent, such as the one that Power Association writes for each issue. We can have guest authored columns as well. I do accept those. And these are more op-ed style articles. Next, we always dedicate a couple pages to bid briefs. These are usually, but not limited to, announcements of hirings or promotions, partnerships between companies, new products or offerings. We run these free of charge, so anyone could submit these to me for potential publication at any time. Another component to our magazine are contribution articles. These articles are written and submitted by industry experts and focus on a specific topic. An example of one that we ran in Biomass Magazine this year was an article titled U.S. South Central Fiber Prices in Q3, a snapshot by Forest Consulting's Andrew Copley. We have been running these reports from the North American Wood Fiber Review, exclusive to Biomass Magazine each quarter. And the final piece to our magazines are our feature articles, which are a little more lengthy than contributions. A recent one we ran was called Reducing Front-End Expenses, in which we detailed some short and long-term strategies for wood pellet producers to save money. So now that we have talked about what we cover and how the magazines are set up, let's move on to upcoming issues for 2021 and their themes and bonus distributions. And just a side note, any events that end up going virtual because of the pandemic, the attendees will still receive the magazines. So issue 1, our theme is project development. Theme here is engineering construction. under this is permits and certifications, supply and offtake agreements, finance, partnerships, and mergers and acquisitions. We might cover in this issue, for example, new projects underway and, reach out to the partners and vendors involved because we always like to give them some credit. Do's and don'ts when it comes to specific design aspects of projects like front-end feedstock handling, for example. We might have someone provide some expert insight on navigating permitting or financing a project, maybe merger and acquisition trends. On that note, we have seen quite a bit of consolidation in the U.S. wood pellet industry over the past couple of years. Bonus distributions for this issue include the National Biodiesel Conference, C&D World, the International Biomass Conference and Expo, and ACOR's Renewable Energy Policy Forum. Moving on to issue 2, operations and maintenance. This includes automation technology, plant optimization, predictive maintenance, asset management, and operational efficiency. A couple examples of content that might be included in this issue include technologies, equipment and software for plant optimization, maximizing efficiency, boiler asset cleaning, routine and emergency repair and maintenance of specific plant components. A lot of bonus distributions for this one. The Waste Expo, International Biomass Conference and Expo, Argus Biomass, the International Fuel Ethanol Workshop and Expo, and the PFI Annual Conference, as well as the ASAB Annual Meeting. Issue 3, safety and compliance. This includes fire and explosion protection, dust control and ventilation, personnel safety and training, and emissions control. This theme, I think it pretty much speaks for itself. It's always very popular, of course, because many of the segments that we cover involve wood and or combustible wood dust. So safety is really of the utmost importance. We've run many stories on specific equipment for spark detection and explosion protection as well. Misconceptions when it comes to that equipment, different dust control options, as well as personnel training processes. Bonus distributions for this one include the Asia Pacific Biomass Energy Exhibition, the Wood Pellet Association of Canada Conference, and the International Biomass Congress and Expo. And finally, issue 4. The theme, always another very popular one, biomass handling and storage, which of course includes feedstock prep, sizing, drying, conveying, transportation, storage and logistics, product analysis, and quality control. This issue tends to be very equipment heavy, technology heavy. We're talking chippers, grinders, shredders, etc., to conveyors, silos, storage domes, equipment to monitor feedstock moisture, transportation costs going into that, and so on. Bonus distributions for this one include the UCIPA Exporting Pellets Conference, the European Bioenergy Future, and WasteCon. And so that about wraps up our themes. Anyone on the call, please do not hesitate to reach out to me with any questions related to magazine content if you're interested in participating or supplying something. A special thanks to today's sponsor, the International Biomass Conference and Expo, which will be held this year in a virtual platform. You can visit biomassconference.com for more info on that. Be sure to check out our upcoming events and that 20% discount that John mentioned at the beginning. It's for a full page print advertisement. It's exclusive to all attendees of this webinar. Just email us or call to claim. And so I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join us on this webinar. And that will about wrap things up. Thanks very much and have a great day.